Good day, everyone. Today, I'm going to discuss about the concept of the cell theory. So before we were going to the topic, first, we must identify what is the cell theory is. Cell theory. It is scientific theory first formulated in the 19th century. It states that living organisms are made up of cells, that they are the basic structural and organizational unit of all organisms, and all the cells come from pre-existing cells. According to the biology department, the key to the cell theory is the propositional that all living things are made out of cells. Every organism, no matter how complex, is made up of intricate systems of cells. Some organisms are unicellular, comprised for a single cells. Now, let's move on. See this picture. Now, close your eyes and imagine that picture. What is the basic building block of that wall? A single brick, of course. Like a single brick wall, your body is composed of a basic building block. And the building block of your body are cells. Cells are performs a huge number of different roles within your body. For example, is the epithelial cells to protect the outside surface of the body as parts of the skin and cover the organs and the body cavities within. While the bone cells build up bones to provide support the body and the cells to immune the systems fighting the invading bacteria. Blood and blood cells carry nutrients and oxygens throughout the body while removing the carbon dioxide. So each of these cells plays a vital role in the growth, development, and day-to-day maintain the body. It seems obvious now that we and and other living things are made out of cells. Prior to the 60s, however, it wasn't obvious at all. For the simple reason that no one ever had seen a cell up close and personal. To distinguish individual cells in a piece of a tissue or individual bacteria in a sample of liquid required the development relative a high-powered microscope. This is the instrument used for magnifying objects, otherwise to see the small to be seen. The first person to observe the cell microscopic structure was a British scientist, Robert Hooke. In fact, he was the person who gave the cell their name in his book, Micrographia. He used the term cell to refer the box-like structure he saw when he looked like a dead cord tissue through a simple microscope. He chose the name cell because the box reminds him of the cell of a monastery, the simple room which monks slept. The cell that Hooke observes, however, were in dead tissue and were in fact cell walls left behind after the death of the real cells. The first person to observe living, moving cells was Anton van Leeuwenhoek, a Dutch shopkeeper and crafter of a lens. In the 1617s, inspired by Leeuwenhoek, he began to build his own powerful microscope cube. With this, he was able to see living things, single-celled organisms such as bacteria and sperm cells, which he collected called animalcules. Despite his discovery that cells extinguishes took quite some time to scientific to realize that they weren't just an odd-friend case, but rather than the essential building blocks of all plants, animals, and other living things. In fact, it wasn't until the 1830s that botanist Matthias Schledens and the zoologist Theodor Swans put forth a revolutionary ideas that all different parts of the plants and the animals are made out of cells, and that cells can be produced from other cells. The German scientist Rudolf Virchow later added this theory by stating that all cells must come from other cells, not just that cells could, under the circumstances, be formed this way. However, two appears have actually stolen this idea from the Polish scientist Robert Remak. The ideas of these early thinkers are summarized in the model theory, which states that all living things are composed of one or more cells. The cells is the basic unit of life, and the cell arises from pre-existing cells. So that's all fine and dandy, but it may leave you a wondering. If cell if all cells come from cells, where did that first cells came from? I think this is the end. See you in another laboratory presentation. Thank you.